Wow.
Ooh, that was intense, and I loved every second of it.
There's a little booty pop in there. So I've realized with getting older that my body just chronically hurts.
All the time.
All the time.
So,
I stretch. I do a biomat. I have my electrolytes, my CBD.
Mm-hmm.
I got all the zhuzh to keep my inflammation levels down low. Doesn't matter. Being an athlete destroyed my body. And I just realized that just going for a basic little scritchy scratch.
This fucking truck is wrecking us right now.
You want me to go talk to him?
No, I think he's leaving. Okay, great. You know that meme that's like, I now use butt warmers, like the heat seaters, to like heat my lower back and loosen it rather than
that
just
is
like.
Actually probably the most accurate meme I've ever had as an adult is yes, I use the car seat warmers as a way to warm my back up.
So true. When it surfaced, I was like, dude, nothing has made more sense in a long time.
Yeah. It's fine though. I'm going to continue. I think I need to strengthen, so I just need to get back on my bullshit, you know? Mm-hmm. You want me to get back on my bullshit?
No, it's just you've been saying that. And then every time you bring it up on the podcast, you're like, cut that out. I don't want people to know I'm working on myself. You do.
You know why though? It's because I think I have this thing in me where like I don't want to disappoint anybody.
The only
so
person,
if I don't share it,
no one's going to be disappointed in your lack of muscle tone other than
no,
you.
I know, but then I feel like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like that pressure of like saying I'm like committed to doing something. Like
I said I was starting my weight loss journey and I'm down 4 pounds.
Hey,
4 pounds. I know 4 pounds is better than no pounds, but I'm saying I still said it.
But
I'm
it's
here,
not only
I'm
that
showing
though.
up.
You started. Well, we both, we have our meal plan. Like we're doing the damn thing slowly but surely. Mm-hmm. But what the issue is I'm addicted to eating at least one bag of chips a day.
At least.
Welcome back to the Queer Social. This is part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
No. I didn't know that's what was happening.
What's up, everyone? I'm Andy Vanacore. My pronouns are they, them, and this is the Queer Social. Fuck, wow.
I literally looked at you. I was like, when is it my turn?
Like, let me do that again, though.
Okay.
Wicka.
Oh my God.
Do you want to do it?
I kind of do.
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Queer Social. My name is Jess. My pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Andy. My pronouns are they, them.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Queer Social. This is part 2 of our fuck you.
Oh my God.
Are you serious?
Okay, I just won't look at you then.
No, just do it.
Me. I don't want to. I'm smiley. You do it.
You
Were
need a task.
I don't need this task. Go ahead. Seriously, you got this.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Queer Social. This is part 2 of our fertility journey episode. And it's really cool because today we get to talk to our best friends.
Yeah.
And we get to kind of go over their journey as well because it was different than ours.
Much different.
It's important to share different queer stories and different ways that families are made, just so that information is out there because we had to go scrounging the internet to figure out how to make a baby.
How to make a baby, dude. Isn't that crazy? Google how to make a baby. A lot of this stuff we were learning through their journey because we didn't have to go through something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting. And like they went through so much as a couple.
Yeah.
Trying to get pregnant. Mm-hmm. But they are pregnant right now.
They are.
She is almost there. And this has just been a wild ride. And I'm just grateful that we get to start our journey together.
So we actually got married. So a little let's do a little background on Taylor and Bry. They are our longest friends of a couple.
Literally best friends, yeah.
Yeah, they are our besties. They are our soulmate friends.
Yes. And by the way, they will be joining us in a little bit, but I just wanted to pat myself on the back because I set Bry and Taylor up, our best friends Bry and Taylor.
Yeah.
They were singles, opposite ends of the world. Bry was in San Diego.
You notice how Jess said world when she just really means country?
I mean country. Fuck.
Smarter than a fifth grader.
That's why I meant country. Bry was in San Diego, California, and Taylor was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, I think Taylor was actually in Montana at the time.
You're right.
I think she was in Big Sky.
Yes. Okay, she was living there for a minute. So I had this bright idea in my head. I was like, what if our two best friends came together?
And I was like, no.
Andy was literally like, do not fuck this up for me. Like, I love my best friends. I love them separately. Like, God forbid anything happened to them and we would be in the middle of it.
We
and
know
like,
how messy it can get in the community. And for me, I was like, this seems like we're going to implode. We're going to implode ourselves in this situation of hooking up our two best friends. So
I felt it in my gut.
you did feel it in your gut. And I let it be. I trusted it. I said, look, I'm just going to ride this wave and pray for the best.
Correct.
And lo and behold, Jess did the damn thing. And now our besties are having a baby.
Yeah, that's so true. So if it weren't for me, I'm just kidding. But I do love the fact that I was matchmaker.
Yeah,
Call me Patty.
Patty, watch out.
Call me
Jess,
Patty.
Jess is the queer matchmaker. And speaking of,
Let me just give them a really quick ring.
you are now live on TQS Hotline.
Oh my God, how fun. Should we just do this all the time?
Maybe. You used to call me on myself.
What's up, guys?
You guys.
Taylor,
Hi.
Bree.
I'm literally so happy right now. I'm like smiling. Like I'm cheesing hard. Welcome to the Queer Social, Bry and Taylor.
Yes, what's up?
What's up, you guys? We were just telling a little bit of backstory about you guys and how we've been friends for a million years, and now we're on the baby journey together, which is so exciting. And I wanted to hear kind of like your insight about how you guys were going to begin the process and then kind of how you pivoted.
Yeah, so we started our fertility journey. We really didn't know too much about the whole process. We just kind of jumped right into it. But we originally first tried at-home insemination. So the at-home process is kind of wild. The process for that looks like you would, like, obviously you have your vials that you would use, and you get them shipped to your house, and you're basically tracking your cycle from at home versus at the doctor's office. So with me, I was tracking my cycle. We were doing like ovulation tests, and when that time came that I was ovulating, we made the order and got the vials shipped to our house for at-home insemination. So we ordered like 2 vials because we wanted to do one like the day of her ovulation and then the day after, just to, follow through.
So you did one, her Taylor's peak ovulation day, and then you did another one the next day, just for like,
as like a follow through. For better odds, yeah. So I actually did 2. We did 2 inseminations. Yeah, one night and the next the other the next day. But yeah, it was a pretty like I don't know, like kind of weird little process. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we definitely wanted to try like that first at home just to see. But like, as you know, the vials, like you mentioned before, they cost a lot of money. So yeah, with just 2 tries right there, that was not successful. We, already kind of went through, 2 vials, and I don't know how many we started. I think 5. I think we had 5 vials. So from that moment, yeah, we just kind of pivoted and was like, we need to, I guess we need to go check in with a clinic and let them help us out with the process. So you did your ICI, your at-home insemination, and after one attempt, and then you guys didn't get pregnant, so you were like, let's pivot. And what was it kind of like? I don't want to spend more money on something that's not a bit more of a guarantee. Yeah, I guess so. Like, we just wanted to know, like, you're kind of just in the dark with that whole, at home process. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that, I was good to go. Like my eggs were good. We're doing the right thing. And yeah, just, I guess, saving some money, and we only have those few shots, to get pregnant. So we wanted to up our odds and, let the doctor kind of take things in their hands and help us out.
How many vials did you initially start with?
We bought 8 for each. Yeah, I think we had 8 vials. So we did at-home insemination. That wasn't successful. So we pivoted and found a clinic where we live and started the IUI process with a clinic with our remaining vials that we have.
Got it. Okay. And then, so you bought 8, you were down to 6 starting IUI. How many tries did you guys do IUI?
Yeah, so I did 6 or 5. It was 5 or 6 IUIs that we tried, and we weren't successful with any of those IUI tries.
So at that point, were you guys kind of like, what's next? Like, what did that conversation look like between you? What kind of things were you maybe going to change up for the next round, or like what direction were you headed in after?
Yeah, so after the 5 that were unsuccessful, we kind of took a break. I think we took a couple of months off from the whole fertility deal, and it was just a lot of the journey. It was really stressful and a lot of just negatives, and you start to question yourself, things about your body, and is this right? Is this wrong? Or what are we doing? And so
it can play like a big portion of going through the journey with your partner. And all those feelings that you just talked about can play a huge role in fights among
your relationship,
couples.
for sure.
Exactly.
It can be a very stressful situation. I mean, I just remember, granted, we were very grateful. I mean, our situation was different, but it was still very heightened.
It was heightened.
There's a lot of very heightened situations. So,
then the financial aspect comes into it, and like Taylor said, like you start doubting your body and what it's capable of. You're like, is it something with me? Am I doing something wrong? And I know that like with hormones, right? Like your freaking hormones are just shot through the roof. So there's so much that comes into play in the relationship as well.
And also to like go back a little bit, we did IUI, and I think it was either 3 or 4 tries were unmedicated. So that merely tracking ovulation and then taking the
trigger shot. Yeah.
I mean, like Bree said, when you're doing an IUI cycle, there is an option for you to take some fertility medicine that will help you get a better successful rate. So for me, we tried like 2 or 3 times just plain out tracking my cycle and doing a trigger shot, which they give you 24 hours before like your peak ovulation, so it helps the egg drop. But since those didn't work, the doctor recommended I think I was on letrozole for a couple of cycles. So what that does is just help the eggs mature a little bit more. They also you can get like, instead of 1 egg, you can get 2 mature eggs. So it just kind of helps the successful rate. But it's a lot on your body. It is for me, like it wasn't too bad for me, but I did have headaches. I did have night sweats. So it does take a toll on your body after a while. And I believe I did like 3 medicated cycles that didn't work. So that was like going back to back. So that's a lot of just a lot of medicine to be taken, and changes with your body, and having to deal with, that factor as well, and it not working. So it's, it was a lot. It's a lot of highs and lows, right? Because you do your insemination and you have to wait out that anxious 2 weeks and then just to get a negative, and it's so mentally taxing. I can't even imagine what she went through on those medicines, but just even in the me as a support partner, it was really hard.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't talk about what the partner has to go through as well. Cause like we know that the person who's trying to get pregnant obviously is going through a lot, right? Like emotionally, physically, but the supporting parent or the supporting partner in the journey is like, y'all are dealing with some wild emotions as well. And you're also dealing with our wild emotions.
Yeah. And
So,
like, I feel like with Bry too, like, you know, like, it's like you almost kind of feel this sense of guilt, right? And there's this weird of like, even after like Milo was born, I'm like, I shouldn't be complaining about being tired. I shouldn't be like feeling
and
like.
I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be. I'm just kidding.
But it is like, there's a lot of mental things that I think the partner doesn't really get to like discuss, because you feel like what the person carrying the baby is going through trumps whatever you're feeling. It's a very weird balance.
Dynamic. Yeah, totally.
And I think for me, it's like I'm so, you have to be so selfless to where like you don't take time for yourself. And I do time to like acknowledge my feelings and what I was going through, because I was so focused on Taylor. But you have to like kind of step back and focus on yourself as well, to remain healthy, and in order, you got to help yourself in order to help someone else, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that you said that. It's so true. It's like how people tell you, like on the airplane, it's like you have to put on your oxygen mask first. And you're like, no, I want to reach for like my person and help them. But how can you help them when you're not being helped?
Yeah.
So I love that you said that, because that's really important.
It's definitely important to like know when, like, it's okay to like take time off, you know, to just regroup. And the fertility journey is just, everyone's different, and it's okay to like, hey, we need to kind of back away from this. Let's regroup and like reset it. You know, it's not only a lot on me, it was a lot on her. So just know that if you're in that journey and things aren't going the way you want, like, it's okay to step away from a moment and just regroup and come back to it. Like, you'll be okay.
I love that.
That's really good advice.
It's good advice, because I remember when you guys told us that, and that's actually when you came out to visit us when Milo was born. I think you guys were taking a break from
and then you were going to start back up in like November or December.
Yeah, and I remember you guys needed that like mental health break. Like you needed to reset as a couple, because you guys have such genuine love for each other, and something like this is so stressful that it's so easy to let, I guess, this be the forefront of your relationship. So I really admire the fact that you guys like kind of took a step back and you're like, actually, let's just focus on our happiness again for a minute.
Because that whole journey can really break a lot of couples. And I've seen couples literally like break up because they, one partner gets to a point where like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to try anymore. Like, and I think that it's really admirable that you guys were able to push through like that.
Yeah, it's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, there was definitely times where, like we wanted to give up, and it was we didn't leave the house. There was days where like we literally just sat on the couch and cried. Like, it sounds awful, but I mean, we just had to go through those emotions.
Yeah, you definitely had to go through everything. I mean, the whole process is rigorous, like physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it. So yeah, I think y'all did the right thing by stepping back and prioritizing like your love and happiness first and foremost, and bring that to the front, and then start again. It's like a fresh start. And so when you guys did start again, is this the process? Because I know after IUI, we had a lot of talks together, and we were just kind of chatting with you guys, and you were like, I don't even know what's next at this point. Like, do we continue to spend money on IUI? Do we go IVF? Do we go, and then that's when INVOcell came up.
Yeah, I would say we definitely, like I said, we took that break for a few months just to regroup, and then we completely just started over. We actually changed our donor. We switched donors. Okay. We switched our clinic, and just turned the page and did a complete restart on our journey. And I would say that was around it's almost been a year now. Last August we did that. There was just some things with our first clinic that we used that we just didn't feel right about. So we made the switch to a different clinic that specializes in INVOcell. We live in Alabama, and we have a really great INVOcell clinic in Alabama. People from all over the country go there. So it just we did some research. I think you guys even mentioned INVOcell to us in the beginning. And then we just did our own research, and
because INVOcell is newer. So INVOcell, for anybody who doesn't know or hasn't heard of it, it's a newer form of fertility. Closest to, I guess it's like a hybrid of IUI and IVF. Yeah. It's closer to IVF, and he's pulling up the definition.
Yeah. So in INVOcell, the embryo is placed inside a device, which is then placed inside of the person that's going to carry. And then usually her natural temperature or their natural temperature and pH balance, the body serves as an incubator.
So the INVOcell basically is like IVF, but what Andy said is that you're basically eliminating all the lab work and all like the embryologist steps. So you it's less invasive. Yeah, less invasive. So what you do is you get an egg retrieval. So they take your eggs out, and then they will fertilize each egg that they retrieve with the individual sperm, and then they put that egg into the device that you carry for however many days, and that will turn into a fully mature embryo. So that is fertilized.
And then once they remove it out of the body, then they reinsert the embryo, or they just take it out and the embryo's already in there.
So the INVOcell device, you're incubating it in your body. Like I said, that is eliminating the lab section, like if you were doing IVF. But yes, when they take the INVOcell device out, they'll open it up, and they will see how many eggs that were fertilized into mature embryos. So for me, I had 5 embryos, right? Yeah. And then out of those 5, I only had 2 that were mature that made it to the blastocyst stage.
Got it.
So they took the best one out of the 5, or out of the 2 that looked the best, and then that's what they used to do the transfer with.
Right. But I do want to back it up just a second. And, this whole process, they take you in a back room, the little office or lab room, and everything's done on a screen. So everything that they're doing, I got to see, Taylor got to see. So even from them choosing the sperm after the egg retrieval and choosing the sperm and striking it so it kind of numbs it, and then they insert it into each egg individually, and then they show you everything. And then so like Taylor said, there's 5 eggs. They inseminated each egg, and then they put it back. And this is all real time. This is all done on the same day for the egg retrieval. And then they place it in the INVOcell. And then the cool part about that is I carried the INVOcell.
This is what I wanted to touch on, because this is so badass to me. Because I remember when y'all called me, you were like, or Bry, you specifically were like, I think I'm going to carry the device. I'm like, no way you could do that. Like, so it made you even more a part of the process of making your baby.
Like, which is, you technically carried, can I say their name?
Yeah, sure.
You technically carried Taysom.
Yeah, that's so wild.
Yeah, I started Taysom's life.
That's so crazy.
That is crazy. It makes me think about doing it for me.
It's a great option. And because like for me, and I'm sure Andy knows, like you want to be a part of this as much as you possibly can. And it was at first like I think Taylor was just going to carry it, and then it just kind of worked out, and
I needed a break from
and that's true. She, going through this entire process, like we've just talked about, was entirely mentally taxing, and especially the egg retrieval, it's smooth, but it's somewhat painful, and those 5 days just like gave Taylor like a break, she's like, okay, all right, and it was a good break for her to come back, and when
pulled the INVOcell out and did the transfer. Yeah. It was a good break for her.
Oh, wow. That's
really
insane.
cool. Like, I feel like a lot of
It's
people
so
don't
cool.
know that can be a
People don't know that.
you know, like a part of it. Like, that's the science is incredible.
Without getting too much info or TMI, you don't feel it. And I went to work. I actually just started at my new job, new department, and I went to work, and like no one knew about it, which was insane.
And Bree's a police officer.
Yes.
In Alabama. So that's what she's saying when she went to work. She was like, you were like literally going about your day doing rounds and shit, and you have this device inside of you making a baby.
Yeah, guys, I'm making a baby. Yeah.
Like as we speak, I'm making a baby.
Doing a traffic
I
stop.
swear
I'm
to God.
making a baby right now.
I swear that like people are like, what do you mean you're making a baby right now? Like you're fucking lunatic. You're like, no, little do you know.
Yep.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, what a story for our kid.
I
Can tell, but like pretty wild. Pretty amazing, actually, that we had that opportunity to do what we did.
Yeah.
So Bree, they put the specimen and Taylor's eggs inside the INVOcell and then placed it in Bree, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So this was all done in the same time, same day. So when they retrieved my eggs, like Bree said, they put it up on the screen, and then they individually fertilized my eggs. And then after that, they put it into the device and then into Bree. So Bree carried it for 5 days. And after 5 days, we went back to the clinic and they opened the device back up. And then we had our eggs that made it to blastocyst. And then we transferred one and then froze one.
Nice. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's something I really wanted to touch on because I feel like so many people don't know about, even about INVOcell because it is so new, but like the fact that Bree took part in it by carrying the device first is like, it's so cool. I love it.
INVOcell is a great option for people if you don't want to necessarily jump straight to reciprocal IVF as well, correct?
Or IVF.
Or
yeah.
IVF,
because it is a cheaper option.
Yeah.
It's cost efficient. Yeah, sure. It definitely costs less than IVF. And then the fertility medicine, you don't have to take as much for the INVOcell than you would for IVF. So that was a big thing for me is I really wasn't about taking all the medicine and the hormones just because of what it does to your body. But it's half of what you have to do for IVF. So that was another decision why we chose to do INVOcell as well.
Do you mind sharing how much INVOcell cost you?
Yeah, so we probably my insurance didn't cover the INVOcell, so that was out of pocket. So with the doctor visits, the medication, the egg retrieval, the transfer, all ultrasounds, everything cost us about $10,000. Yeah.
Okay, I might, y'all, we might be coming to Alabama to do for the next baby because
that was like for my insurance. Like I said, it did not cover it, so it can be cheaper for other people, whose insurance covers fertility stuff. But just for like the INVOcell, like you get your packet when you go into this clinic and it tells you like it will break everything down, exactly what you're going to be spending. I guess just for us, it was just a little bit more because of the insurance situation. But it was all
which a lot of insurances don't cover. Yeah. You're lucky if your insurance covers your
how long was the INVOcell process for you guys? Like from beginning to end, how long was that process?
So in December, I went in and my body did what it was supposed to do. My eggs were looking good. So it took us from that time, I'd say beginning of December, it was around like probably a 3-week process of going in, making sure my eggs were mature to the retrieval and then to the transfer. It probably took around 3 weeks. And then after they did the transfer, you do have to wait 2 more weeks for the 2-week wait to see if you're pregnant or not.
Got it.
And then
did yours work on the first INVOcell try?
Yeah. So the first cycle that I tried, actually, I didn't go through with it because my body
your levels
But the actual
the level
transfer, the
support
first
there.
transfer.
So the first one that we actually went through was successful. Yeah.
That's incredible.
They say that the success rate for INVOcell is closer to success rate of IVF than it is IUI.
Our clinic was very confident Taylor was going to get pregnant first try. They had no reason to believe she wasn't. And what we loved about this clinic was that our second clinic is that they canceled it. Unfortunately, yeah, we didn't want to hear that news and it upset us. But the fact that they aren't going to sit here and waste our money and our time was big for us, because our first clinic, like, we didn't get that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We just felt like they were rushing in. We were just another patient that they didn't care about, you know?
Yep.
And it was huge for us.
Can I ask you about that? Because when you think about the South, you don't necessarily automatically go to the best fertility clinics. And like, did you ever feel any type of like ostracization or like discrimination when you were reaching out to these fertility clinics there?
I would say, yeah, the first clinic that we went to, like Bry was saying, there was just so many. It was a big clinic and there was so many patients, and every time we went, we felt rushed, and it wasn't very personal. It was just kind of like in and out, like we were just the next patient on the list. And there were some things that we requested, and they just denied. Like, there was one time we went in for an IUI and we wanted to do an ultrasound just to kind of give me like some clarity, like, hey, like, your peace of mind, like your eggs are good, let's do this. And they came back and said that they wouldn't do that, and so they didn't have time to do that it doesn't really make sense to do that. Even if that's the case, like, just for the peace of mind sake of going into something like that would have been nice. We always seemed rushed and just kind of
like they didn't hear you,
like
they
you weren't a priority.
Yeah, and that's a really shitty way to feel when you're already on this like super sensitive emotional roller coaster.
You're supposed to trust these people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it just wasn't right. It didn't feel right, and we're like, we're just not jiving with this place. So any advice we can give about the clinic, if you do not feel comfortable with your clinic, it is okay to look somewhere else. Like, we really didn't know. We just, we're at this clinic and it's the main one in our state. That's where we thought we should be. But after really stepping back and doing our own research, we found a different clinic that is amazing and really helped us and loved us and treated us completely different and was on our side the whole entire time. So that makes a huge difference in the whole fertility process. If you don't feel comfortable with your clinic, right, don't go there. You can, go find somewhere else to go that you feel more comfortable at.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, and of course being same sex and in a very conservative state, Bible Belt, we were probably 9 out of 10 times the only same sex couple in there. So obviously we got a lot of stares, and it was uncomfortable for me, to be honest. And we'd feel like sometimes we just didn't get that same respect in a sense.
I really love that you guys are saying like prioritize your comfortability in the process. It's already an uncomfortable process, right? Like you're putting yourself out there so much, and to be at a facility where one, you don't feel heard or seen, or you don't feel prioritized, like for you guys to sit down and be like, this is not for us, like, and make that choice to switch, like that's probably, I would say it probably played a big part in why you did get pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have that support system for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to the clinic we use, Innovative Fertility in Alabama. They were God sent, and we still keep in touch with our doctor today. Like, we send our doctor ultrasound photos, and they're still part of our life, which is crazy and awesome. So, and they, like I said, specialize in INVOcell itself, and there's people from all over the country that drive and fly in just to use this, to see this doctor. So
We about to be
highly
those next
recommended.
people. You better get your spare bedroom. Oh, also, real quick, shout out to Taylor and Bree because they just got their first house together, and that's adult ass shit.
That's
and
some adult shit. So you started with ICI, you moved to IUI, you took a break, prioritized happiness, restarted, went to INVOcell, and had success on your first transfer.
Right.
Damn, that is a wild ride.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
like we need to circle back super quick and chat about the donor switch because this to me feels fucking massive.
Yeah, it's
And
a huge decision.
huge decision.
I mean, we talk about how difficult it was to even pick one
ours,
donor,
yeah.
let alone having to reshift and like have a new game plan and choose a different donor is
Insane.
yeah, that's
But
wild.
listen, y'all had a major conversation about switching your donor, which is fucking massive.
After how many attempts that didn't work did you switch your donor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our first donor, we did 6 tries with the original donor that we had, which, by the way, took us a very long time to choose. Like, it took us months and months to just choose to find this donor. Right. So after we went through those IUIs and those vials, we just kind of, like I said, took a break, and then we really had that conversation. Like, there was just always like this feeling of like, maybe this isn't the right donor. It's just kind of a not 100% feeling on the donor for some reason.
Did you think maybe too there was the factor that played into it that like his specimen and you could not have like been a good match, which is why it didn't take? Like, was that ever a thought that crossed as well?
Yeah. I mean, you obviously think of all those things. Like, that was definitely a thought. Maybe, something's not driving or what, or those thoughts definitely ran through our head.
And I think more so when we were looking, it was as you guys touched on, like it sells out. Like, when a new donor goes online, they sell out. So we found one that was like, okay, well, in specific, he didn't have adult photos. So for one, that was hard for us because, obviously we care what, our donor would look like as an adult, but that's all we had at the time. So we're like, let's just roll with it, because you have to act fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. But I think deep down, Taylor and I never kind of felt like he was the right one.
Interesting.
So when it came time to it, we're like, well, I guess we can look elsewhere.
So when y'all
That's
say
so crazy because like I feel like it's like your body subliminally talking to you about, because like if we think about it, right, like you're like eggs, right, when a sperm enters the body or specimen enters the body, your body fights that shit. They're ducking and diving. They are ducking and diving like, yo, get up out of here. Like, they ain't, so it's interesting that your body was like, maybe just, maybe it internally knew that, hey, this isn't the right decision.
Yeah, looking back now, we're like, dang, like,
we're so thankful.
Yeah, like, man, all those tries and all that with that donor just was not, that, wasn't meant to be for a reason. And we talk about that all the time, and it is crazy to think about. Like, it's wild.
when y'all say hard reset, like you hard reset, like you did from literally from scratch.
Oh, yeah, we completely started our whole fertility journey over. Yeah.
And you were on the same page in regards to choosing a new donor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm all about manifesting, right? If you think it's going to happen, and you just got to feel it. And I was literally at work one day, and Taylor's like, oh my gosh, Taylor was just scrolling and just happened to come across this one donor, and she sent me the link, and I was like, yes, 100% yes. And, financially, we weren't in a place to buy more, and this donor specifically was about $200 more than our other previous donor. So we had to use our resources and, to come together to buy, with our new donor as soon as possible, because sure enough, we bought 5 vials with our new donor, and he sold out like 2 hours later.
So
That
crazy.
is so insane. I have like chills now.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy.
Our donor specifically redonated already, so he's retired now. He's done.
So also, some people don't know that donors retire, which can be a very tricky situation, especially if you want siblings for your kid. Like, how many vials do you buy right away?
Yeah, so our donor retired, and that is one thing that for us, we both want to carry from the same donor as our goal. So buying enough vials to hopefully make that happen, it just adds on to the price of the vials, because we need more than just a couple. So when we bought the vials from the new donor, we had to buy, like, he only had limited amount of vials left, so we bought what we could. And then when he sold out, he retired. So I guess a donor can only donate so many times, and I guess by choice they can be done, but ours just, I guess he donated up to his limit, and then they retired that donor. So if we didn't buy 5 vials, and let's say someone wanted to use the same vial, or she wanted to use the same vial for a sibling later on, he's not going to donate again. So we had to get him the vials then, because he's done, he's retired.
When you guys were in the process of deciding to switch donors after, the first donor didn't work out, you brought up a fact that you can buy back, or the clinic will buy back vials.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
From the original donor that we had when we switched over, I think we had like 2 vials left over in the clinic. So they buy back the vials if
It hasn't left the clinic.
if the vials have not left the clinic or the cryobank. The clinic will buy back the vials for half off. So you don't get all your money back, but you at least get half of what you paid for each vial.
After everything that y'all went through with ICI, IUI, and then INVOcell, when it comes time for Bry's turn, are you guys going to go straight to INVOcell, or are you going to try IUI again?
Right. So we're definitely going to stick with the same clinic with that started INVOcell, just because we love them so much. And but I'm going to try IUI. I believe in their knowledge and their practice that I could be successful in IUI. And then obviously if that doesn't work, I'll probably give it 2 tries. And I'll definitely do INVOcell.
I think that's something, it's funny because a lot of the comments that we've gotten on our page is like, IUI doesn't work and you should just go straight to IVF. And like IUI, it did work for us, right? It's so up in the air as to how your body's going to respond to certain things. And like a lot of people say IUI is a waste of money. For us, it wasn't because it worked the first try. But for a lot of people, they're like, save your money. It's equivalent. 5 tries is equivalent to what you would pay for IVF or
I
whatever.
think you have to look at your journey, right? Like your own process of doing it. If you're trying to get pregnant, no matter what, with this time frame of like, I have to do it now, this is where I have my money, then do it that certain way, right? But if you are gonna like take the process like for each step that it is, then I think that you shouldn't be discouraged by IUI, right? Like talk to your doctor, of course, because they're gonna guide you in the best path possible, but don't be discouraged by other people's shortcomings, or like other people's not the scenarios that didn't work out for them. Don't let that discourage your fertility journey, because everyone is different. And I think that really got in your head. And then Jess ended up getting pregnant on the first try. So it's just like every journey is different. You can't compare yourself.
And it's interesting to hear you guys say, like, even after all the attempts at ICI and IUI, that you would still do IUI again. Like that's incredible.
Because that's the lows of, like, we saw you guys with some of the lows. You know?
I think it all comes down to just where you feel comfortable at with your body and with your clinic and doctor. And me personally went through those hard times where, it wasn't successful with IUI, but I would try IUI again for sure with our new doctor or clinic that we use, because it just didn't feel right. The timing felt off with the first clinic, and there just was a lot of things that didn't line up, I think. And yeah, like, you just gotta listen to your body, and don't compare your journey with everybody's different. Everybody's different. So there's all the options are good. I would, recommend IUI. If you can get pregnant with IUI, like, do it. If you, at least go through it and try, that way for sure.
Yeah. And I definitely don't discourage people from doing IUI. Like I said, I think it's huge that you have to vibe with your clinic, and you got to trust your doctor. And specifically, I just feel like everyone should just get a plane ticket and go to Innovative in Birmingham, because they know what they're doing, and they pour their heart out into their work, and it shows. And that's why we're going to continue going there.
I love that. You guys, thank you so much for joining the Queer Social, telling us your story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, because it's such a vulnerable thing. And like I said, being there, a part of your guys' journey. And for those who don't know, like, we started our pregnancy journeys the same time.
Around the same time, yeah.
And Taylor and Bry are about to give birth about a year later than what we gave, or when Jess gave birth to Milo. So it's incredible. Stay on your journeys, and just, thank you guys for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, thanks for having us.
And by the time y'all see this, Taylor will be at the end of her pregnancy.
Yes.
The baby is coming. We don't know the sex of the baby. They're keeping it a surprise, which is another wild thing. I could literally,
as a same-sex couple too, like, keeping it as a surprise, I'm just like, come on. Come on.
I literally could never do it. I don't know how you guys do it. But anyways, for anyone who's listening or watching, follow Bry and Taylor on their Instagrams.
It's B Milla and T Milla, because they're married.
You guys, that's so wifey. Also, like, it's giving L Word vibes.
It is.
Like Mama T, Mama B.
Yeah. Yeah, Mama B. Yeah.
Anyways, all right. We love y'all. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll chat with you later.
Yeah, we love you guys. Bye.
That was so special to have best friends on.
I know. It's cool because
I wish they lived here.
Yeah, Taylor and Bry have been our close friends for over 10 years. Jess and I knew Taylor through...
Doesn't matter.
You guys know how the lesbian world is. Somebody messed with this person who messed with this person, and then somehow...
And we got best friends out of it.
Exactly.
So cool.
And then we ended up finding each other, so... lesbianism.
Okay, great. All right, I hope that y'all got tidbits of information that help you with your journey and your process. I know all of this can be so daunting, so intimidating. There's honestly so much that goes into it, financially, emotionally. Like, I would say it's probably one of the most intimidating processes, like, because you're like, where do I even start?
Yeah.
And I think our goal in this was to help you to know kind of where to start. Because when we started our process, we were Googling, like, literally, how do I start?
We didn't really know where to start. But also, like, it's important to share other people's fertility journeys, because no story is alike.
Yeah.
No experience is alike. So... there's similarities, things here and there, but like I said, Taylor and Bry started their process the same time we started ours. And for them, their journey was very different. It took them a whole year longer to go through the same type of process. And then they ended up doing different method that worked for them to start their family. So it's important to share the different stories.
The change can be intimidating as well. So, like, honestly, the change to change donors is like a monumental decision.
Yeah,
truly.
absolutely.
The change to change the way of trying to get pregnant is
even,
huge.
right?
Changing the clinic. There was a lot of change and pivoting that they had to do in their situation that I commend them on, because like we said, like, all of this can be so trying,
and it's
to
so
a
stressful.
relationship.
Like, honestly, I think about the fact that, like, if we would have had to change clinics, it would have been so daunting for me, because I already don't like the process.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like going through that type of stuff. So
Just
then
a
having
lot.
to do it all over again, like, there's just so many things that they persevered through. And I think that that's so important to show that, like, you have to keep pushing. Like, if you got to keep, you know, the goal in sight, but also the reason why you started, right? And I think that was something that they always kept in mind, is the reason why they started, and that's because they love each other and they wanted to have a baby together.
Yeah. And to remember that you're on the same team. Like, you and your partner are on the same team. You're trying to achieve the same exact goal. And I think during this, like, it can kind of feel like you guys are against each other in certain ways, or you're taking your anger out on that person, or your frustration. And I think to come together and be like, we're doing this as a team. You're my teammate in this. And our goal is to achieve a family and to keep that at the forefront and keep positivity and love at the forefront. It's funny because my mom always says, like, lead with love. Oh, you knew I was going to say this. Yeah. Lead with love. But it's so true. Like it's hard to do at times, right? I mean, Lord knows it's hard to do at times. But if you can just reevaluate and take a step back and put yourself back into that mindset, it's going to be better for both of you in the end.
Because even if the situation isn't a positive one, that love is still there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah. Anyways, we hope you guys liked this episode. If you did, share it with a friend, put it on your stories, tell your neighbor about it. I don't fucking know.
Like, subscribe, comment, and I guess if anybody ever has a question on how babies are made in the queer community,
send them here.
Have them start with this episode, or just tell them to Google it.
True.
Follow us at The Queer Social and Two Babes, One Barn. Jess Vanacore.
You don't need to do that.
Andy Vanacore.
Yeah, do that one. No. It's fine. Okay.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.